Alright, I'm back. Why do I have 1 on the misplay counter already? Did I already forget what I did that was a misplay? Oh, I went in before I stacked deck, of course. Yep. Would I have taken the Tide Turner and used it? Don't think so. It's still a misplay. Alright, we're gonna try and finish Atlanta here, and then maybe start on Sydney, though I'm not gonna watch all of the stream matches, I'm only gonna watch the ones that had good players on them. I'm back. I should do another stream announcement. We'll see. Probably only gonna be another couple hours, but that should be enough to at least make it through this. And then I just pass, because I got nothing. My hand is all reactive cards. Which I guess a Kaiser would have helped with, but it also would have left a Tide Turner stranded on the battlefield, and it only would have drawn me a half a card, and it would have ended up with Kaiser on the battlefield, which is not great value. Alright, what's an Allen's hand? Arcane Shift Fizz... Singularity... Hook up on endgame sleeves. There you could use my code Prismat. Code Prismat for 10%, I think, off. And I get a cut. Cat is yowling. He wanted treats. Maybe I could put that in description. Affiliate links. Oh yeah, I get a granola bar out and start eating. So I have flash, hard bargain, and I think a longsword in my hand. I want to see the chat reaction to this actually. Hold on, where's the chat? Gonna destroy my performance. Having the chat open for some reason. Thoughts on Azir in the meta? He's not bad. His only drawback is the fact that there's a lot of gear hate in sideboards. Hand off my garbage to the judge. Oh my god. Didn't know I streamed? Well, I haven't streamed very much recently. I've been busy. Can I get chat replay? What is going on? Just doesn't want to work? Do I need to refresh the page? What is going on? Alright, whatever. No chat replay then. PC can't handle loading it. Tips on getting good at the game. Because it was the backup stream? No, this is the main stream. Like, this is the main YouTube VOD. Let me just refresh. Tips for getting good at the game. Yes, but it's hard to explain them without context and everything. I might just need to restart my PC. I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know how uh, it can be performing this badly. Pretty sure it's because there's a Windows update that wants to happen. And, at least from my experience, is, Windows takes my computer hostage and does not let it run properly until the update goes through. And that seems to be what's happening here. Scoop to Allen? Yep. That is true. Alright, whatever. God, this is annoying. Alright. So he goes for Fizz Wages. I play Flash. This is something that actually came up that we learned mid-match, is the Fizz, when you play him, is a trigger that you can respond to. So in one of the previous games, he tried to play Fizz on Arcane Shift. I asked, can I respond to that by playing Flash to make the Arcane Shift target invalid? And the answer was yes. So here I use the Flash to deny him the gold, and deny him. This was before the update with Fizz though, so the spell didn't get recycled, which was part of the decision. Do I care about giving him the gold and letting it get recycled for another Fizz later? But I'd rather deny the gold. Evaluate, respond to problems presented by other meta decks. That's part of it, yeah. Like, I'm actively avoiding playing any deck that is not yellow or purple because it will not be able to answer Aurora. And I don't want to opt into that sort of thing. I could have gone for Longsword there. If that was in my hand, that probably would have been better. Allow the wages to go through. And drop the Longsword. And then get him to trade his student in. Or get him to send his student in and flash out. That would have been better overall, because he has 6 left at this point, so I don't need to hold up 5. And I already played the flash, so I was holding up 7. Yeah, that was probably just wrong. I should have just played the longsword. Not sure what I'm holding it for. I should cash it in as soon as possible to get value. What was I worried about? Allowing the wages to go through. He has 6 runes left. He still can't singularity me, even if I flash after the student goes in. So that would have been completely fine. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why I don't longsword there. I don't need to hold up this many runes. Or maintain this high of a rune count. Do I ever show what's in the stack deck? No. Looks like it was complete garbage, because I ended up taking a cleave off of it. Sydney review after? Yeah. But I wanted to get this done first still. And then here is where I believe he pushes in with Stupefy. Yeah. Yeah, and here I make a mistake too. This is where... I guess no, he has Singularity. 10. So he's still threatening Singularity at this point. So this is where I do need to commit the longsword. Okay, this was something where I thought something went wrong here, where I commit the longsword. And then he hard bargains my flash, but I think this was necessary to play around Singularity. But I do think this longsword should have been committed earlier. On the previous turn, on the Wages of Pain, and save the flash, force him to commit his student in. Try to flash out both, because you threaten to eat my Kaisa. He eats my Kaisa. Yeah, I think... I'm surprised he didn't go for Singularity backed up with the hard bargain, though. Here I draw Forerunner. He gets the 12 runes. Yeah, the problem was I had no development for several turns. And played inefficiently with the longsword. Alright, and then this is the climactic turn. My problem is... So I have Rengar, 2 Cleaves, and a hard bargain in my hand. The problem is, I'm trying to play around Rebuke plus Arcane Shift. And the issue is, if I hard bargain repeat the first one of those he plays the second one, and I can't push. Can't believe there's still bots doing this trash. That's the problem. Because if he Arcane Shifts the Watcher, all my stuff is too small. The other issue is, if I equip the longsword to my merchant, push over the Ezreal first of all, I have to discard a card, and all my cards are good. Second of all, when the merchant ends up on the battlefield, if he Arcane Shifts the Watcher, it kills the merchant in addition to everything else that I have. So I want to avoid that as well. So this turn takes a while to think about, because I'm trying to figure out if there's a way that I can beat that combination. But I don't actually have a way to beat that combination. At least not to win this turn. So, what I end up doing is cleaving the Forerunner and offering a trade. Because if this trade goes through, then I at least clear off his board. Like, if he passes for some reason, and then, I mean, if he passes, I can just send Merchant in here, and then throw a Rengar over top, and that should be basically unstoppable. So he can't pass. This forces him to act first. And then when he acts, if he Arcane Shifts, I can accept it, still pass, my Forerunner will trade with his student, and then I can still cleave over his Ezreal and leave his Watcher isolated on the battlefield. If he rebukes, I can allow the rebuke to happen, and then just replay the Forerunner and try again next turn. And if he does something else, then I can potentially win. And that's what actually happens. I'm actually really surprised that he didn't go for Singularity backed up by Hard Bargain. He was setting up to stack runes, because Singularity would deramped him. Is the reason he did that, but I'm not sure if that's correct. It's hard to say without knowing exactly what was in his hand. So this turn takes a while to think about. I think this is the one time. This turn is the only turn where either of us gets prompted by the judge to make a play. I mean, I want to actually go back to the start of this turn just to count how long it takes. So, 85 minutes. So it ends up taking 3 minutes to make a play. I really want to see what the chat is saying. I don't care. I'm trying to refresh again. Just load properly this time, please. And stop loading to the... God damn it. It's timestamp. That's why it keeps loading to the wrong place. Living life on the edge with this refresh? Yeah. Oh, it's loading better? 85 minutes. That is crazy that our match went this long, but this was very slow. Best of 3, very long games on all of them. Like, I actually remember, I think it was Grenton said, one of the other head judges, lead judges, whatever, went over and asked him, like, why he wasn't giving warnings for slow play, and he said, like, they're taking actions. Like, I think these turns, like, this turn was the only time either of us took longer than 2 or 3 minutes for an action. I mean, this was 3 minutes. So he goes for smoke, and when he goes for smoke, then I have the win. Because now he can't do Rebuke plus Arcane Shift. If he does either one, I'll hard bargain it. And I have the Rengar to push over top.
Hacking. It's basically ambush.
So the game probably would have gone on another turn. I'm not sure if Alan can win, even if he does an Arcane Shift or does the Rebuke first. Play card, Hairmog. Wait 10 minutes, repeat. Hey, Roned, thanks for the Prime sub. I mean, it's probably, yeah. I mean, I don't know if Alan was supposed to play around second cleave plus, I mean, this is like an exact 4-card hand. I'm not sure what Smoke plays around. Instead of going for Rebuke, or... I mean, I guess if he thinks he can survive this turn, which I think he has like the third Stupefy in hand or something, to force this combat to keep going. Like, I guess I could have, like, cleaved and equipped onto the Forerunner. But then that leaves me open to something else. Because then I don't have the equip for the Merchant. And he can choose not to kill the Forerunner when I conquer. So I don't think that changes any... I don't think that should change anything. Oh yeah, because this is trading. Yeah, so I mean, if I equip the Longsword, then this wouldn't be trading, still be forced into the same thing. Yeah, I should have played the longsword earlier, and then there was the misplay with not stack decking before I conquered. Alright. On to the finals. Which, unfortunately, Coco was higher seed. I was 2, he was 1. Of course, I have to run into the guy that's first seed in the finals. So I don't get, I have to play from going second twice. Alright, enough chat. Where's my cursor? I'm gonna try to do some of Sydney. We'll see how long it takes. Because this was also a pretty long match. Nope, no subwall on my VODs, and they go straight to YouTube as well. So I've got Kaisa, Rebuke, Flash, and a 2-drop in my hand. Can't see what I'm choosing from here, though. Yeah, Coco's cool. He's also streaming right now. He's doing some set 3 testing. So here he misses his on-warns trigger. What's in his hand? Stack deck, Switcheroo, Tide Turner. Looks like a Forerunner and a Kaisa. So he could easily have discarded the Tide Turner. Kaisa playability in set 3. Bad against Aurora. Not very good against Aurelia. Good against other stuff, though. Match against Yi. Yeah. So I've got the Kaisa Accelerate plus Flash turn 2. My discard here, either Rek'Sai or Rengar. I'm expecting, so what I need, or stack deck, I guess. So I'm going to draw a bunch of cards. I'm going to flash out. The first thing I need to think about, if he has Hard Bargain on my flash, he'll kill my Merchant for free, but my Kaisa will get to stay. Second thing I need to think about, if the flash goes off, he's going to end up on battlefield, he's probably going to stack to hold. I have Rebuke for the Forerunner, that has to get held. If he does something else, like puts down an Overzealous Fan, I need a way to push through that. So it's either the stack deck discard or the Rek'Sai, yeah. But the Rengar needs to stay in order to push through an Overzealous Fan. Unfortunately, I don't get a window to flash before he goes in, so he gets his combat win. Gets infinite cards. I think this turn is where we notice that he didn't trigger Zonwarns earlier, which is to his own detriment. Infinite card glitch? Yeah, but I've got infinite cards too. I'm getting Seed of Power plus Kaisa draws. And I have way more runes than him. Is there anything weird about my discards? Rek'Sai is a bit weird. It means I don't have 2 drops left to discard. Top 3 legends are Aurora, Irelia, Diana. If the only person able to perform on Annie is me. We'll see. Randy said he was going to play Annie this weekend in China. Alright, yeah, and it looks like... I mean, let's see what his hand is. God, can it pause, please? God. Tide Turner, Switcheroo, Forerunner. This kind of looks like another Kaisa. I can't tell. Hard Bargain, Stack Deck. So yeah, he has no other play, depending on what that card next to the Tide Turner was. So he's kind of stuck playing the Forerunner, and then I think the game just ends instantly here. Because I rebuke the Forerunner and then wipe his board, and there's no coming back. Ideally, I'd have a Cleave. I get to cycle through 2 more cards with my Kaisa first. Or if I have a Longsword, that also works. That looks like a Longsword. So I've got Rebuke Longsword coming up, and then an Noxus Hopeful. Very cool. I could also go for Overzealous Fan. That would make me safe against Darius getting accelerated out. Which is the only accelerate I have to care about. I'm too big otherwise. But I could also put the Hopeful in base and just push back over the Darius, because he has the Darius 2-drop, and Darius will be in by himself. It's hard to say top 3 for Legends. At least so far. And then I do another flash so I can just Hopeful base and be completely safe. Could Hopeful forward. Stops a Kaisa accelerate. And then I can... Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I Hopeful forward, because the idea is if he Dariuses, I can respond to the Darius trigger with flash and deny him the combat. Though I probably still don't do that, because I want his Darius to end up on the battlefield. Probably should be Hopeful forward. This is slightly suboptimal. Though it also doesn't really matter, because if he accelerates a Kaisa out, there's no way he wins this game. But I don't know how he wins this game at all. Because even if he replays the Forerunner, I mean, the Forerunner's terrible. That actually does nothing. Okay, yeah, like an Accelerate Rek'Sai. Like, this is where having the Hopeful forward would have mattered. I think here I just let him get the card. Okay, he has the Hard Bargain. So there, the Hopeful in base is actually better. Okay, Hopeful base is better against Hard Bargain, so it's not even a misplay. So here I'm thinking about if I play around Switcheroo. If it's a Switcheroo, it's better to not equip the Longsword. If it is... Or if it is a Switcheroo, I shouldn't equip. If it's a Tide Turner, I should. He has 3 Tide Turners and only 1 Switcheroo, so... It's just how it is, but also he can't get back on board. Alright, pretty clean win. Noxus Hopeful, Kaisa stack deck. Makes sense. So here I've got Flash, Forerunner, Hopeful, and can't tell what the last card is. Flash is extremely important, especially Flash with Forerunner, that combo. He has one Beast Below in his main deck, he might have one more in his sideboard. I guess they didn't show lists again. I don't remember if he has a second one in his sideboard. But Ferris Forerunner still game plan. Game plan Annie versus Aurelia. Force them to tap out when they push over your Forerunner, and then Starcross them. Or just kill the Aurelia. Because you have more offensive tricks than they have defensive ones. And then here I end up with absolute dog shit hand. I end up with like Rebuke, Rengar, and something else, and have no turn 1 play. So I have to pass. And then he still doesn't even push in. And this Targon's Peak is so fake, I just want to say. Unbelievably fake card for Draven. Because it never got used.
Conquer right now doesn't really accomplish much. I guess Targon's Peak is maybe an attractive place to go to be able to...
And there was no point playing Rengar on my side because he was never going to go forward on this turn. So ending up in this spot where I play the Rengar turn 2 doesn't change anything. Alright, what's in his hand? See a second Kaisa, there's still a stack deck. He discarded a Blood Rush. What does that tell me? Might tell me that his hand has a lot of tricks in it, and not very much development. It is really difficult for him to develop a Forerunner here, because I still, even with Targons, I'll still just drop a Rebuke on it. Slam Rengar turn 1, there's no point. If opponent walks in, I can Slam Rengar when they walk in. If they don't walk in, there's no point having a Rengar in play. See, I know his hand is full of tricks when he has this as his turn. So I'm behind, but at least I get my Forerunner down. Is this where he beast belows me? Or does it happen a bit later? You should have 5 cards in hand. Wonder what the thought process behind bouncing my Rengar was. Because he could have allowed the Rengar to conquer, and then the Rengar would be on battlefield. That might have been a better play. Or is he setting up for some kind of push? Nope. Takes the trade to deny my hold. Oh yeah, and this is where I, like, pick up. I need to respond to the beast below. This is my mistake for saying, like, okay to the beast below too fast when I needed to respond to it. Playing too fast. Yeah, and here I'm pretty fucked. Because I'm never getting this Forerunner back out again. And he even forces Rebuke with the axe. Yeah, but I mean, this game, like, I literally skipped turn 1. And he had on-curve beast below into Rebuke hard bargain. So, you know. What can be done? Oh boy, and here his start is so disgusting. Stack deck hopeful into Rek'Sai hopeful. 12 might on turn 2. Why do I play stack deck here? Does it find me a flash? I think it finds me a flash. Because otherwise, if I have flash in hand, I should just send Kaisa forward, but I think I don't. Yeah, it find me a flash. This is like only play. Alright, and then here is where I make a mistake. So, this is guaranteed to be a tide turner. This makes 0 sense to be a switcheroo. The issue is, so my hand, I have a longsword, I have a rebuke. I don't have anything else that's useful. And I need to push one of these battlefields. And he has 2 runes up. So the problem is Spinning Axe beats my longsword. And would force me to play rebuke. So I'm trying to find a way to set up combats so that I can avoid having to take that risk. The idea I come up with is I can send in, offer the trade, he'll flip the tide turner, and if he tide turners anything other than the Kaisa, I can attack in over top of it, and then if he's spinning axes, I can still longsword and be fine. The problem is if he switches with the Kaisa, then my play doesn't work, and that's what he does. And that's the misplay. The correct play is to just longsword my Kaisa and send her into the hopeful. If he spinning axes, I just have to rebuke. And that's just what has to happen. And I still get rid of his spinning axe, so I don't trade down too many runes, though I'm also committing the longsword. And I get to make progress. Go to arena and avoid combat. I mean, yeah, I could also go in with hopeful, offer the trade. Don't commit the longsword. If he accepts the trade, then I go in and I just don't use the longsword. That's also very reasonable. And if he commits the spinning axe, again, I can still rebuke him. And then I haven't committed the longsword. And then I can still draw into Forerunner with my Kaisa. That would work really well. But yeah, the issue is he tide turners with his Kaisa, so he sacrifices the Kaisa draw, but this also leaves me in a really awkward spot. And he gets his own drawback. And I might be able to see what's in my hand right here. It might just be more Noxus Hopefuls or something. Yeah, there's like a Noxus Hopeful, an Overzealous Fan. Maybe a Rek'Sai. And then, or there's like a Ride the Wind. No, that's the Rebuke. So yeah, this is just where I didn't account for things, and now it sucks, because he got to draw a card off of this. And now I end up in the same spot. I have to Longsword Kaisa, he rebukes me. And now... How the fuck do I win this game? I guess he's also really low on runes because he had to rebuke me. That's the one saving grace. But yeah, if I had made the other play, either I Longsword Kaisa, get his rebuke, or I just go in and offer the trade and then take the Conquer. I leave him with Hopeful Fan, Kaisa Rek'Sai base, but I can still do the same Overzealous Fan stacking, and I just have an extra rune. I don't put the fan. I don't commit the Longsword yet, and I can probably develop a Noxus Hopeful or something that's in my hand. Actually, I probably should go and offer the trade, because if I Longsword my Kaisa, he can just Tide Turner and save the Hopeful. So I probably do need to go Hopeful for Hopeful trade, and then Kaisa Conquer. Do I punish him here for this play? Or do I wait a turn? I think because I get to 5, I get to walk back to base and redevelop. Yeah. Yeah. Lose time cards are Chinese? No. Doesn't matter because I'm playing Annie. My games aren't that fast. So yeah, here I get forced to blow everything to get up to 7 points. But I do wipe his board. Except for the Hopeful. Can't believe I won. Yeah, me neither. This looks like absolute garbage. But I do have Rebuke Switcheroo in hand. Unfortunately, he didn't put the Hopeful forward on the hold. If he did that, he would have immediately lost, because I'd still get him with the Switcheroo, and just kill the Hopeful for free as well. But yeah. I get to do Annie. Was it even correct to Annie here? What's in my hand? I've got Kaisa Accelerate, and I think the Ride the Wind. So I take Flash, and I'm just trying to set up lethal with Kaisa Accelerate. I could have put Annie forward with the fan. That might have been a good move. Where he has to walk the Hopeful forward and play something, and then I get to use Flash. This might have been a mistake. Other issue, I'm 6/6 on Rune, so I can't pick Rebuke back up. I could pick Switcheroo back up to hide, but that's it. So what happens if the Annie is with the fan? If he pushes into that battlefield, I decline the fan. He plays a spell, I play Flash. And then I stack the other battlefield. So what ends up happening, I think I kick his Hopeful out. I guess the plan is always to kick the Hopeful out, and then there's no reason for Annie to be on the battlefield. Because if he has an Accelerate, he could either go over the Annie or the Rek'Sai. Three-hour drive to a one-piece skirmish. Yeah, but that's got good prizing. I'm surprised he slams the axe. When he does, because he could have attacked in first. Oh, but then he has the Rek'Sai Accelerate? Yeah, so he has the Rek'Sai Accelerate, I kick him out, and he still gets the axe down. So he lost a card draw here. This is a misplay. There was no reason for him to not send the Hopeful into the combat first, then commit the axe. Either way, I still have to potentially flash the fan without any information. In Hoshi, thanks for the Prime sub. But he just gets an extra draw out of it. So now I'm in this spot. So the problem I have is I know this is a Tide Turner. Oh, it's a Ferris Foreigner in my hand. So with this being a Tide Turner, I mean, if it's a Switcheroo, I just win the game by attacking. But with this being a Tide Turner, there are a couple options. One of which someone messaged me about that I completely overlooked. I believe the option was I could send in... Yeah, I believe I could send in Kaisa Accelerated plus Annie, 7/7, let him flip the Tide Turner, and then go over top afterwards. Or I could send in Rek'Sai plus Annie, force it to get flipped, and then accelerate Kaisa out afterwards. Both of those work. The problem is that gives him a combat win, so that gives him a draw, and then I get a draw off the Kaisa. The other problem, he doesn't have to bring the Rek'Sai in. Whereas... if I send exactly 10, he has to bring the Rek'Sai in, and he gets left with a Tide Turner in his base, which is better for me. And then the other question is, what am I doing with this Annie? She could go in and conquer. He didn't. He stack decked into a Rek'Sai, so he doesn't have another Accelerate unit available. Or else he would have played, like, if he had a Darius, he would have done Darius instead of the Spinning Axe plus Rek'Sai, most likely. Though he did need the numbers. So he could still have a Darius, but activating Darius would be impossible. So he would brick himself if he kept a Darius in his hand. Like, he can't... I was checking how many stack decks he had, I think, and Accelerate units in general. So his Darius is bricked. I think he's played 2 stack decks at this point. So he could have Kaisa, which equipping Longsword to Annie plays around. He did have... did he have one earlier this game? No, he hadn't played a Kaisa yet. So he has 3 Kaisas. I think he has 1 or 2 Rek'Sais. And then the Darius combination isn't real. And then there's also Spinning Axe. But Spinning Axe would trade. So I'm figuring out if I want to equip this Longsword. Do I ever need the 6th rune, or does the Longsword give me outs? I don't know what the correct decision is. But he ends up having to rebuke me.
If the Forerunner is because you're worried about removal here, or if there was maybe some other reason why Draven from the Champion Zone wasn't the play, just because that is a large number of might in an Aspirants game, but it is the Forerunner here.
I thought about Showboat as well, but going to stay in the tank. I mean, the removal that's going to hit the Forerunner is most...
So now here I need to figure out...
trigger the death knell anyway.
How I ever win the game. If I grabbed Switcheroo instead of Flash, what would have happened? I would have needed to hide it. So I hide it with... I probably put... what do I do? So I have the Kaisa in hand, so I have that Accelerate, so he still has to hold the other battlefield. I could do Annie with Rek'Sai with Switcheroo hidden. Oh no, but then I go down too many runes. Let me go back to that, actually. Which turn was that? This turn? Yeah, no, if I hide Switcheroo, I can't Accelerate Kaisa anymore. Which is... I don't know what happens then. All 3 units to arena, good. Play for the hold. I didn't even think of that. Let's see. Because he's only on 7. No, the issue was... he could easily have... yeah, his deck is 3 Tide Turner, 3 Gem Jammer, and a Flash. If he has any of those, he just loops the axe on me, and I lose to that. That was the problem. And yeah, he also has the Rek'Sai for Draven Accelerate. So I have to make him lose the Rek'Sai.
Also have to advance your game plan. Like, you need to put some units on the board. You need to threaten to try and conquer.
This is an interesting situation for both players because you need some board presence. You need a double conquer or a hold, and you're at least a few actions away from that in both scenarios.
Certainly are. Prismaticism deep in thought. Trying to figure out, what do I have left? Smiles exchanged by both players. They know it's close, but who's going to take it? That is the real question. 2 runes. Nope. Taking them back. Again, very, very tough to find a way to navigate through this game.
Yeah, that's a lot of might on that Ferris Forerunner, and it was big enough that if Prismaticism develops something here, it has to likely still be...
I guess one thing I could have done differently too earlier is I could have gone for... I'm really not analyzing this very well. But on this turn here, I don't want to leave the Forerunner by itself. Let me see. If I have Flash in hand here... No, I already used it. Okay, yeah, part of the problem is the fact that I have Flash in hand. I don't have Flash in hand. Yeah, because I think if I had Flash in hand, I could do something where the Forerunner stays forward. And that would have stopped him from scoring this Rek'Sai point when he Beast Belows. Or he would have had to send the Hopeful forward afterwards, which is really strong. But I think I didn't like giving him a Spinning Axe push over my Forerunner that I couldn't do much about. It would have to be Forerunner plus the fan. And then... that might work. But then if he has Rebuke, I don't have an answer for it. I'm not sure. And then, yeah, here he draws Falling Star and then plays too quickly. So he could hard bargain repeat this, but if he does that, he can't develop his board. And then I'll play Annie and Rebuke his Forerunner and reverse things on him. Nobody abuses Flash, it's a broken card. When you get to play it for free, especially. I was so far behind this entire game. Until the turn I switcher rebuked him. Yeah. So he did have a Spinning Axe. I don't know how long he had it for. He inted it. He did mess up. He should have just ripped the Falling Star immediately. If he rips the Falling Star immediately, then... yeah, I don't have any outs. Yeah. Yeah. So I think... was it, other than the one turn where he had the Hidden Tide Turner, and I should have gone other battlefield, was there... there were things I could have done differently. I could have tried to hold with the Forerunner. I could have stacked the other battlefield, but I don't think he had played a single Gem Jammer or Tide Turner at that point. Or, well, he had the one that he hid, but he had... so he had 6 cards left that he could have had. Was there any read that I could have had on his hand at some point? So on this turn, I know he doesn't have a Spinning Axe because he played Rebuke instead. I have that information. Maybe I could read he doesn't have Overzealous Fans on this turn. And then this turn, he drops the Forerunner, which is just makes sense as a play. And then on the next turn, he drops Beast Below, which just makes sense as a play. Like that, those are just his best plays possible, so there's nothing that can be ruled out. But yeah, him getting this point, maybe the Forerunner should have been forward, maybe it should have been forward with the fan. It's possible that giving him this point wasn't very good, but I needed the fan. Actually, no, this was the reason. I have Switcheroo in hand, so this fan has to live, because I need Switcheroo available. a switcheroo target available. Which means it would be Forerunner by itself, and Forerunner by itself is really weak to a spinning axe. Which he could have drawn, I think he does have in hand at this point. And then, yeah, Beast Belows me. But yeah, it is just like the one card that he got given when I gave him that Tide Turner combat that I shouldn't have. I think that probably also, I drew. And then this turn here, I could have also held with Annie. What would have happened? I think I'm always using the Overzealous Fan, and then what if he accelerates out, I flash out both, so I end up in the exact same board state. I could have not picked up Flash, put Annie with Rek'Sai, hidden Switcheroo, but then he pushes the fan off. And then I only have 4 runes, and I don't have any way to get to the other battlefield, so then I get trapped on this battlefield. So he can just kill... I mean, it forces him in a really awkward spot where he doesn't know that I can't get to the other battlefield. Like, I could easily have a second Flash in hand or something. Or another Rek'Sai to accelerate, or Ride the Wind, or something like that. So maybe he feels pressured to still... I mean, if he accelerates a unit here, he can't win, though. So the problem with the play of Annie here with Switcheroo is I think it forces him into a position where he can't play around me conquering the other battlefield. So he's forced to just develop base, and when he develops base, then I potentially end up losing. Because I lose this fan, so I have Annie Rek'Sai, I have 4 runes, so next turn I just drop Kaisa, and I end up having 12 might total with a Switcheroo. The Switcheroo, and let's say he just drops Draven, so he has 6 points, this is a 9, and he has a hard bargain. He just has 13 with hard bargain, already fails. So yeah, no, I don't think that works. I think it forces him into a play. Forces him into a line that beats me. And that's never good. That's pretty crazy, though. Alright. Sydney time. Let's take down the misplay counter. Let's find some good matches to watch. I was hoping they'd put me on round 1, because I didn't have a bye. Alright, let's see. Pike. Pike running... If that's Lunar Boon, I'm skipping. Opponent was a no-show? Yeah, my opponent was a no-show. Level in Oceania better than expected? I don't know, I didn't have an expectation. Seemed similar to other regions. Oh my god, it's so slow. Wait a second, this pike list actually looks reasonable. Oh, it's a star-crossed. That's a weird play. Oh, it lets him accelerate out pike. Get the trade. Okay. Hold on. Alright, this actually looks kind of real. Oh, and they show the deck lists. Alright, yeah. This looks like it's almost worth watching. Because I'm also interested to see how Pike does. Okay, so this is completely all-in Hui list. 7 2-drops. Main deck acceptable losses. With last rights in the deck. 3 gusts. Okay. I don't know why the battlefields are mixed with the other cards, but sure. Actually, I don't know why there are multiple copies of the battlefields. But sure. And they just don't show the Pikes list? What? Alright, screw this Pike. We'll have to see his deck ourselves. This guy loses with turn 1 Treasure Hunter? Are you serious? This is Exodia draw. Are we waiting for a judge call on if there's a showdown when the Treasure Hunter moves? We are. There isn't. It also doesn't matter. This is completely irrelevant. You get the Riftbird's Bay no matter what. Unless the question is if a unit that's at a battlefield cannot be at the Ripper's Bay while at a battlefield and be a legal target for Gust. Why do we have a +1 die? What is going on here? Is that what we're using as gold tokens? They're waiting for gold tokens. Oh. Why doesn't the Pike have his own gold tokens? We're gonna Gust on Abandoned Hall. I don't like that. Impressed with their level of play. Yeah, Rico played well. The Lilia that I lost to played well. Otherwise, not particularly. And Lilia's deck... What is this? Upside down cards? Oh, he drew upside down into his hand. He had his hand upside down. Okay, we're good. We're good. This isn't the round 1 upside down Adaptatron situation. The Lilia's deck list was really bad, though. Eep bonk. He just drew the right part of it every game. Best of Orn deck. It's fine. It's actually playing units instead of trying to be a Lilia deck for no reason. Remember their tag, Saintos? Oh, the Lilia, Eep bonk. They got top 4. What's my approach to deck building? Why is he playing it on base? Why did he just play the Spirit to base? He better not be trying to pick up the Spirit. Yeah, I don't understand this. I think he was completely fine. I mean, I don't know why the Vex is on the battlefield, first of all. Oh, that protects him from Pike Accelerate? Okay. No, the Vex does have to be on the battlefield to stop Pike Accelerate. I don't know why this Treasure Hunter can't stay here, and the Spirit gets played here and then gets picked back up. Because one way you can lose with this Pike deck is if you leave your Spirit in play and it dies to a removal spell. Because this is your literal win condition. So I would have much rather seen the Treasure Hunter stay here, Spirit get played here, picked back up, ramp, and then just drop the pack. And just say, I don't care if you kill this Treasure Hunter at this point, it's completely irrelevant. Also, I don't think he has the right number of gold in play. Because this Treasure Hunter moved, made a gold, got picked up. Or did it get gusted? Oh, I guess it got gusted. Okay, so that did deny gold. Why did it get gusted? I don't know, but it got gusted. Alright. Denied a point. But I don't like leaving this Bewitching Spirit in play. He could have also played Pack and packed the Spirit, and then not played the Treasure Hunter, but then his board's empty, which isn't great. But I really think he, like, might just lose the game. If the Spirit gets killed. Like, what's in his hand? Literally nothing. If this Spirit does not take all of his opponent's cards, and then Baron finishes the game, he can't win. So if there was a Moonfall that killed the Spirit, it's just over. And then he has 5 left, so we can pack it and replay it. An opponent didn't Moonfall for some reason. How does the Diana win this game? Because the Pike does not, but he should take all of their cards. This Diana also did nothing. They just skipped an entire turn. Oh, they got second Moonfall. Oh. Okay, they got second Moonfall. Yeah. There it is. Now it's cooked. That's why he does nothing all game. He lost his win condition. He left his card that said, you win the game as long as you keep me in your hand the entire time. And now his deck does nothing, and he's got 2 Treasure Hunters, and the game is over. What? Did he just start? Oh my god. Oh no, the Diana has infinite mana up. Yeah, he couldn't do anything with the Pike. Yeah, I mean, the game is just over. Diana gets the 6, and then he's dead next turn. Does he at least drop the Baron? He hits... Okay, I guess he can't hit the Student, I don't know. Okay, I don't know why he's not Falling Starring the Diana plus Student either. You at least have to try for that. And now he does this. And now the Stupefy that was already known about comes out. That was revealed off Diana. Why didn't Alan's side unchecked? For what matchup? Why would he want unchecked power? Why do people run Treasure Hunter? It's literally Catalyst of Eons for Pike. For Vex, I don't think he has an issue in the Vex matchup. He has Moonfall. And Purple Vex. Does Pike need to ramp? Yes. You're a control deck. You have nothing better to do in the early game. These gusts are kind of crazy how unnecessary they are. He could be using that to defend his own units from Falling Star. Surprised he discards Trove. That'd be one of the last cards getting discarded unless he has a second copy in hand. Oh, he did save Gust. That's pretty cool. Is he gonna not play Hui? What does he have? Is it another Purple Vex? It sure is. Very cool. Now he gusts. And this is when the Star-Crossed comes in to bounce the Vex. Sure. And then we do this and we trade into Stupefy. Okay, we're back where we are. Everything makes sense. Kha'Zix was the best card all weekend. You're playing Kha'Zix in your Ezreal deck? Or you just mean in general as a card? Okay, if he's... I'm surprised he discarded Hui. He had two Huis. He could have just played the first one. Because it doesn't seem like he has any way to protect the Hui. I guess he could put him on the battlefield and flash. Which means he should have taken flash if that's what his plan is. There is no flash in this. Never mind, there is no flash in here. What am I talking about? Sideboard to beat mid-range. Yeah. Okay, so he just takes the thing that lets him put 2 units out. That makes sense. I guess he's waiting to find flash before he puts Way in play, so that if it gets Falling Start, he can flash it back and give it +3. But that seems really slow. And discarding a Way seems crazy. Fizz decline. Why did we discard our treasure trove? Now he taps out for Way. No, he's not tapped out. Okay. Oh, he does have flash. He didn't put Way on the battlefield, though. Okay. Ride the Wind looks pretty nice. We're gonna sack the student now and then ride the Wind Way next turn. Do whatever and be ahead. Kind of. He is doing a very good job of drawing his units that he has, like 13 of total. Surely the Pike wins this game. When the Diana's hand looks like this. Hey, Dendar. Diana do anything without Hui? Yeah. But nothing broken. He still has acceptable losses in his deck. Against the gold generation deck. Okay, then. Sure. Why are we still playing Falling Star? This Pike has no interest in having runes, which also means he has no interest in winning this game. Hey, chillin'. Watching some Sydney VODs. Thanks for the shout out. Okay. Breaking runes for fun? Yeah, it's good. That's the dream. Alright, round 2. This guy's name is Rengarbot. He's playing against a Chinese player. He's cooked. Oh, he's the Dragon Rengar. Did he end up tying this game, or did he just lost anyway? Don't tell me he lost. Dancing grenade. What the hell? From your locals. That's crazy. He has all 3 Dragon Herald of Scales in play. Surely he draws his entire deck, right? Or did they go into time in game 2? He has his entire deck in his hand. Brother, play cards. You have Confront in this deck, right? Does he just concede? He's just like, I got the combo off on stream. You take it? How do I see a Poro Snacks in a non-Orn deck? At least it looked like a Poro Snacks in a non-Orn deck. Oh, no, it's Friendship. It's an Ivern deck. It has Yellow Vi. That's a good card. Has Emperor's Divide. That's... Not sure how good of a card that is. Has 2 Mausers. What? Why has it got that? Why do you have things that want to die? Alright, what's he playing against? Oh, a LeBlanc. Ooh, he did Sigil to Storm them. Oh yeah, what are his battlefields? Sigil... Actually, Sigil to Storm doesn't work with Ivern. I guess it could be your go first, where you go and hold and force them on the Sigil. Rockfall Path is pretty good. Drop the Ivern. Must declare a tag. I believe we have Bird, Dog, and Cat, so that's a Poro. Judge, we need a Poro counter, where I have named the Ivern as a Poro. What is this? What is this pile of cards that he picks up? Oh, he puts it... Oh, he has a token for every reflection. Interesting. That gives away a lot of deck information if your opponent ever sees all the tokens you have. Alright. Unfortunately, this Mixologist can only trade with 1 unit, which is hilarious if there's no Vi backup. Huh. So the Ivern had the perfect curve. He's going to score points. Oh my god. Assuming he named the right tag. Okay. Now we just need to protect his battlefield. Wait, does Ivern just win here? Is that a Vilemaw in his deck? Hold on. No, that's a flurry of feathers. I think. I think that looks like a flurry of feathers. No, that's a Vile Maw. That is a Vile Maw for some reason. Why does he have Vile Maw? I don't know, but I guess he can just pass his turn and go for the Vile Maw. I guess he can just say pass. Back off discipline friendship. And a Vile Maw. He could also pull everything back to base. That's another option. Pull everything back to base, drop Vile Maw, with the plan to attack back in. Potentially with Vile Maw plus Ivern. That's not crazy. Because you could just pull out, go back in, conquer, get to 6, and then be threatening the hold. Of course, the other option, you could hold, pull back, and then threaten any Ivern Conquer to win immediately. But I do think he should pull back at some point. Surprised the LeBlanc is not discarding units to bring back with the Mixologists. Like, that yellow LeBlanc could have been discarded. Because he's going to have to Death Grip in order to get any kind of a push off here. Looks like Ivern just wins. This is a bad matchup for LeBlanc. She can't interact quickly enough. He plays it. Why? He plays it and passes. Okay. What if we walk back to base as the Ivern? I don't think we can lose anymore. Don't think it's possible to lose if everything walked back to base and a Vile Maw got played. Unless they Ruination. But he doesn't have Flurry of Feathers. Do we have Defy for this Death Grip? We have Flurry of Feathers for this Death Grip. We don't have anything. Alright. Sure, resolves. Wait, why are we +2 in our Ivern? He didn't declare targets for the Riptide Rex yet. Oh, he did declare targets. Okay, he did declare targets. Fair enough. That's why we're +2 in the Ivern. Alter Unity. That gets best of Ari? That's a Ruined Rex? Nah, he's Riptide Rex. They're all Riptide Rex. Okay, so these two swing in, they both get stunned. Oh, he swings in with everything. It all gets stunned. Alright, easy W. It happened 0 times. And he got best of. Huh? It doesn't work anymore? No, the sprite triggers before hold. Alter is a when you hold. That's fine. If you were trying to do it with Gutter Palace, you'd have to do it with Aurelia. She's a when you're ready, and there's nothing else in the game that does that. I think LeBlanc misplayed by sending his Honest Broker to the battlefield on turn 2. If he kept it in base, it would have been able to trade with the bird and turn off Ivern. Extra points. Oh yeah, it's Grand Plaza, not Altered Unity. Altered Unity is the whole battlefield. Oh, we got a dog into an Ultra Soft Poro. Good enough. Good enough. Time for LeBlanc to roll over this game. Oh, hold on, he went on the battlefield kind of early. With his blue LeBlanc. Nope. Alright. We are going to make copies of this blue LeBlanc. We're having an orgy. Or something. We are not making copies of this blue LeBlanc. Why? What? Alright, I don't know what's happening anymore. Move camera so you can read cards. Wait, they show cards down there? What do you mean? Oh. They do show cards down there. Why do you need to read the cards? You don't know what they do? Flurry is playable in other decks? No. Okay, whatever happened... Still jet lagged? Nah. Oh, LeBlanc forgot about Rockfall. Okay. But why didn't they copy their blue LeBlanc? Alright. I don't know if you'll be able to read it. Is that big enough to be read? Whatever. Alright, fair enough. Now nobody knows what legend they're playing. So now we charm the LeBlanc in. That's pretty good. And then what do? A second Ultra Soft Poro. And then we hide a back off. Holy. And then the Ruined Rex gets copied and we're still kind of dead. $12 to 12. Stun a Rex. You know what's funny? This still trades. This still trades completely. Because he can... I don't think he can choose not to kill the second Rex. I'm not sure about this, though. Any judges in chat? When you're assigning combat damage, can you choose to assign more damage to a unit than it has might? To intentionally not kill another unit? Like, in this situation where it is 12 to 12, can you choose to assign 7 to one Ruined Rex, and then 5 to the other? Is that legal? Or do you have to assign, at most, the amount of might that a unit has in damage? Once you assign lethal, you have to distribute the rest? Okay. Like, if there was a recruit here, if it was 13 against 12, he could assign 6 to the Rex, 1 to the recruit, 5 to the other Rex. But with only the 2 Rexes, it seems like it shouldn't be legal. So the thing with that stun, he stuns 1 Rex. The other Rex kills a Poro. The Poros kill both Rexes. Both Rexes shoot the Poro. Can't have more than minimum unless no further units remain. Okay, cool. There's actually a thing in the rulebook. Thanks, Will. So yeah, that means that this Death Grip is completely unnecessary. Unless he does get to kill the dog when he death grips. So it's not completely unnecessary. He didn't conquer. You don't get to turn off the bush. But Ivern's also completely dead. He has no way to win. He concedes. Yeah, that's Ivern. That is Ivern, everyone. There's a reason he did not make day 2. That's because he has no card draw. And he has no good way to protect his units. And he needs to have 4 units in play at the same time. With specific characteristics, so he can't just have any 4 units he wants. Pre-Rift events, yeah. Yeah, Ivern in Pre-Rift is insane. Because there his numbers are actually unfair compared to everyone else. And Ultrasoft Poro is really big. You play him in Constructed, and his numbers are smaller than everyone else's. And Ultrasoft Poro isn't that big. This guy just full capped again. And also, you have no card draw. Which nobody else has in Pre-Rift, but turns out in Constructed other decks have that. Alright, go to the Star Spring. Question is, do you turn the Star Spring into a brush? Probably don't need to for 1 turn. We just hit a card on turn 2 against a Saurian Scout. I think this wasn't necessary to turn into a brush. If the LeBlanc wants to trade their Saurian Scout for a bird token, that should be fine. Especially, or we just have a bunch of Ramhounds in hand. We could have sent 1 Ramhound forward, played in base. And then they still can't push over our Ramhound at 2. I mean, they could have Stupefy trade, which is annoying. But even then we get to double conquer. We don't get to brush both battlefields. That is an issue. But if we hold here, then we could pull back, conquer other battlefield, brush it. And then they get to have Star Spring? No. But yeah, it turns out when you need to keep all your units alive as Ivern to make your deck function, you don't get to play all of the good yellow cards. You don't get to play Hidden Blade, you don't get to play Color Weak. You don't get to do a lot of things. Drops Ivern. Ivern is a Poro. Unchecked power. Emperor's Divide. Holy. Is that game? No, he gets the 7 points. Mirror Image. This guy had so many runes, because Saurian Scout Karthus is, yeah, reasonable. Unbrush it. I don't know what this is copying. Probably an Ivern. They should put a die to represent its might. Unfortunately, this doesn't matter, because Ivern goes to the other battlefield, and still goes to 6 points, and still threatens lethal. Thanks for the Prime sub, Kala. Both images are blue LeBlanc. Okay, sure. But what if we Vile Maw them? Along with one of our Ramhounds. What if we telegraph the most obvious Vile Maw in the universe? Still might work. Ivern gameplay, where you literally keep all your units in base so your tags stay active, or else they'll get traded with. Alright. He hasn't shown this Vile Maw at all, this series. Color correction. Death Grip, so that can get him up to 8 if he kills one of the LeBlancs, pushes on the other. That's only 7. I hope he has another buff. Or else that unit doesn't function still. I guess I understand Emperor's Divide is just to let your Ivern go in and out. That's all that it's there for. It's just, you put all your units in base when you get to this point and just have Ivern go in. Bellows Breath. None of your units are dealing damage. He is shooting his own sentry. Okay. Interesting. Ahri against Lilia. That should be a really good Ahri matchup. That is a signpost. Alright, next. The Ahri lost. What? Telling me that you can't beat 2 Might Sprites? Okay then. Played versus that Lilia on Friday. He played well. He has a signpost in his deck. What is that doing there? Please explain. We are watching a Vex hold against a deck that can't do anything about it. Do we have Imperial Decree? No. 4th copy of Smoke and Mirrors. Nope. Your sprite's not ready. Why does this Vex have these cards? So random. Twitch chat was question mark spamming. I played Signpost in pre-Rift, and even there it was not that good. Chinese Vex. Yeah. With Aurelias. Vex is an MTG Pro. Okay. No, I don't play Runes and Rift. Ain't got time for that. Oh, hey, Diwali's playing. Hold on. He's playing against a Leona, though. I'm assuming he doesn't lose to these. He does not look like he's losing to these. Alright. Okay, well, I would like to watch Set with Set 3 cards, but he's playing against Aurora, so I don't really care. Really couldn't care. Aurora guy shuffled his deck, not as... Okay, that's weird. Oh, hey, Saint Oz. Alright. Oh, and I played against this guy, too. Alright, hold on, this one's worth watching. Though it looks like they're in Game 3, so we don't get to see too much of it. Oh my god. Alright, what's going on? We got Ornn, aggro Ornn. He's playing blue Ornn, though, for some reason. Nice 4-might unit, bro. And he's also playing Sprite Mother. Never mind, I don't like his list anymore. His list is bad. Overall level, I don't know. Probably similar. Maybe a bit worse. Probably a bit worse. It's hard to say. Is this not Aurora? No, I played against this guy. He's not Aurora. He just has Baron Nashers. Yeah, the top tables were the same. Those were good. The tables that were less than top were probably a bit worse. And he performed quite bad other than me. Yeah. Gotta show people how to build the deck. Because they don't know. Alright. I really love this 4-might blue Ornn. That could have been a green Ornn that draws. Purple not look blue. No. There's definitely some stuff with like alt art orange and yellow runes where they look really similar. Maybe that also happens with purple and blue alt arts, but not with the standard art. Surprised he even has these disarming rakes. Or maybe this is Aurora. Wait, no, this is Aurora Kha'Zix. I remember I played against this guy. He is just an Aurora Kha'Zix. There was a different Kha'Zix I played against that was normal, but not this guy. Okay, that is now a 5-might Ornn. We are sending 14. Surprised we sent this Sand Soldier here instead of the Lonely Poro. I think it would have made more sense for the Lonely Poro to go there. Double Blade Flurry. If that Lonely Poro was sent there, we would have drawn a card. Do we have a Sterix Gauge? Do we have anything? 5-0 versus Aurora? Yeah, I mean, you can build a deck that farms the Aurora. Okay, we're done. Certainly can. Yellow Caster. Oh, I lost to this guy on Friday. Oh, wait, no, I played against this guy day 2. No, I played against this guy round 8. No, I played against this guy round 8. And I completely threw a game in the garbage, but still won. 2-1. That was when the jet lag was hitting me. Oh, wait, he's Santism? Oh, they mixed up the names. Did I play against both these guys? I might have played against both these guys. I don't remember. Get nervous. A little bit, but not anything really bad. God, is he going to win off this unchecked power? Holy overextension. To make a lot of mistakes. Game 1, I made one mistake, just not understanding the Vex game plan. Game 2, I threw in the garbage. Game 2 was unlosable. He did draw extremely well, especially considering his deck list. Like, he had Treasure Hunters and Emperor's Divides, and never drew those when they would be completely dead. Alright. I'm going to finish watching this part and restart my PC and call it for the night. Because this is unbearable. He did play well as well. Yi versus Aurelia. I don't know where the Yi's board went, but it is gone. Oh, this one I want to watch. Alright. This is the Teemo that top 8'd. Take a look at his deck. Chosen Champion Blue Teemo. I believe I counted his hidden cards and he has 24 of them. So he deals 3 damage on average with Blue Teemo. And then he's using sprites in order to get onto battlefields. Also has Sneaky Deckhand, which... And then he has a Baron, which I guess is a payoff off Star-Tipped Peak, if he's running Star-Tipped Peak game 1 and then switches out of the Baron. Wanted to see me comment on Fiora. Alright. Is it an Aurora Fiora? It's not. Okay, this is like... why does he have like 2 Lucians? And 1 Death Grip. Two Lucian is bad. Lucian is one of the best orange cards. Should probably just play 3. Especially when you can farm Sunken Temple with him. Or Monastery. Though this Monastery does not have very many buff sources to use. Alright, let's see. I want to see what this Teemo player's up to. Used to play 3 during Spirit Forged. Maybe you can't fit 3 in the deck anymore. Mulligan, Death Grip, and a challenge. Sure. You see Blue Teemo, so you do want challenge for it? Pass. How many 2-drops is he playing? I'm assuming it's 6. 6 plus Thorin's Blades. We are turn 1 in a Sprite Fountain. We are getting this Star-Tip Peak online immediately. With the Teemo Hide, probably. Okay. We're cooking. Not sure why the judge is allowing him to put the Teemo on the inside. Teemo champion unit. Or this Fiora. Another strike for table judges. Or stream table judges, specifically. Yeah, this does look pretty good, doesn't it? He's going to flip this in response to the trigger. Get his hold, go to 2. Go to 3 on the Sprite. Hide a card on each battlefield. Probably Blue Teemo here, Switcheroo here. Maybe he hides Consult the Past on the Monastery instead. Worth to break Rune that early for Fountain. He gets it back immediately, so yeah. If it wasn't Star-Tipped. What else are you going to do? Especially I don't think his hand did anything. He didn't have another turn 1 play. I mean, he could have played Blue Teemo if he didn't just draw that. Or Purple Teemo. Damn, he's got GG Easy Teemo in his deck. Baller. That card's more expensive than... His deck is probably more expensive than my entire collection, honestly. Not counting best ofs. Or top 8 cards. Did he miss the Star Tip trigger? He shouldn't have. Temporaries before Star Tipped. He hasn't scored the point yet. Yeah, Vex can compete, but you are playing a die roll deck. So you're gonna compete. He channeled already? That's true, he did channel already. Rank it, it's A tier. It is very degenerate to go 2-drop into purple Vex into hide a card. Alright, let's go back and see what happened here exactly. So he does write down the score, and he does start channeling. And then he tries to trigger Star Tip Peak. Oh, and he even draws a card. And then he realized, no, okay, no, he channeled and drew a card. Yeah, that's a mistrigger. Assuming they're going hard on him. I hope this judge is not asking his opponent if he wants to give the trigger. Well, I guess, no, proper procedure is to ask the opponent, because it could be a trigger that you want the opponent to take. But no obligation to allow that. That is a mistrigger. And that's his own Star Tip Peak, too. So we really can't complain. What am I doing if the judge is asking me? If they didn't draw the card, maybe I give it to them. But when they drew the card, it's too late. That is beyond the cutoff point. I mean, even now, people don't understand the order of operations in their turn order. So they channel runes before doing other stuff. But if they drew the card, then no. What's up, Racula? I do ask my opponent every single time with Arena's Greatest if they want to shortcut that and just start with 1 point to 1 point. There are rules for missequencing. Yeah, when he drew the card, it definitely should. And I mean, honestly, you should really understand the start of turn order of operations. If you're going to a regional qualifier. That should be an expectation. 4 and a Nocturne, alright. I mean, it'd be nice if they errata Arena's Greatest to just say both players start the game at 1 point. I'm surprised the Nocturne... I don't know, I guess he needed to in order to hold. This is why you don't suggest things for your opponent to kill, because they might not know that they can kill more than they think they can. Because this is legal damage assignment. He just assigned 4 damage to the Nocturne, 2 to the blue Teemo, and didn't kill the... or 2 to the purple Teemo, and didn't kill the blue Teemo. That is, a decision he can make. Completely legal decision to make. Oh, he only has one GG easy? That's tragic. Alright, actually right here I want to point out, as you can see, the judge is having to fiddle with some stuff. For some reason, the stream table judge. I don't know why that's necessary. If they need someone to manage the technology at the table, they should have a second person there doing it, so that the judge can actually focus on judging the game. Because this was an issue during my match on stream as well, where the judge was distracted dealing with technology issues that they really should not have been. Okay, so now they're talking about damage assignment. And no, you fucked up your damage assignment. That is also not going to be possible to go back on. We are rewinding the game state. Or something. We have called the head judge in to explain the situation, actually. That's what we're doing right now. I'm curious what the head judge does. Because the Fiora player assigned combat damage in a legal way. It's not like the 2 Riptide Rexes versus 2 6 Might Ultrasoft Poros. Okay, he's allowed to do it. I'm somewhat surprised by that. Like, I don't think you can classify this as a different mistake from some other face-up mistake you could make. I don't know. I mean, it obviously depends on what the Fiora player said when they chose what units they were killing. But, yeah, I don't see how that's any different from, like, I don't know, attacking with a unit playing a pump spell and then just not being big enough. Or, like, forgetting about your opponent's Master Yi Legend. Why you'd be allowed to rewind that play. So it didn't look like the Teemo player said anything, while the Fiora player was choosing what to kill. Alright, is the Fiora player about to lose the game? Looks like they are. Because... Okay, nice Consult Hide. Okay, it looked like they were about to swing into Switcheroo before getting a second unit accelerated out. They're going to let the Teemo hold. Teemo is going to... What is he going to do? His Bone Skewer is impressively useless. I guess we hide it anyway. Yeah, and reuse it as soon as we get a window to use it. Okay, we see absolutely nothing of value. Probably going to eat some sabotages. Do we want to pull this Auction out? It can get accelerated. But if they play it, they can't sabotage, so it's better to leave it alone. Swing in for 3. Is this where you use the existential dread? I guess it doesn't really matter. Well, it matters a little bit, because if you switch through the Fiora instead, that kills her, and that's a higher quality unit. We are going to put down a Sprite Call. They are going to kill the Sprite. Interesting. Well, this is just going to work out. They are going to swing on the Sprite. Why are we playing Existential Dread on this? That is completely wasted. He is going to ready the stunned set. He is still stunned. Text on Bone Skewer? Nope, sure doesn't. Okay then. I don't know why we're swinging into a fucking Sprite with no hidden card there. Like, just going back here. All the Fiora player needed to do was swing Fiora into here. Force the hidden card to get flipped. I mean, I guess the stun... No, this is... This stun getting... Like, once he swung the set in here, he lost the game if the stun doesn't get played. What the Fiora player needs to do is swing in here with Fiora, get switcherooed. Then... I guess then he loses the Fiora. Hold on. It's a little bit harder than that. He needs to... I mean, probably what he needs to do is kill the Teemo instead of the Sprite. Then he swings in with set. Let's see, can he double swing? No, he probably... Okay, what he needs to do... Yeah, he could swing in with set. Get switcherooed. Auction, equip the Doran's Blade. Accelerate with Fiora. Swing in, get stunned. Then he only trades. Not quite. So he has to Auction, accelerate the Auction with Doran's Blade. Then swing in with Fiora. Either get stunned or switcherooed. Then swing in with the Auction. Then swing in with set. And the end result is he ends up with set conquering the battlefield. The stun gets played, the switcheroo gets played. Either his Auction or his Fiora dies, and then he has a set on the battlefield, and then Sprite plus Sprite Call comes in over top of the set, but Teemo can't win anymore because the other cards. But for some reason he swings into a Sprite that can't do anything. And then Teemo player wastes the stun, which means Fiora is still in it, because he can again accelerate the Auction out before swinging in with Fiora. But then he doesn't. The problem is you do need to force the hidden card to get flipped, because if it's another unit, he just flips it on the Sprite death and holds. So you do need to keep swinging into that hidden battlefield. Go second Grove. Wait, what is this Teemo's third battlefield that he's doing this? Arena's graded? Holy shit. Save Akshan. You have to play the Akshan to get him accelerated, because if Fiora dies, then you can't. And the Teemo knows your hand. I mean, that's especially bad, spending that stun for no reason when you know the Fiora's hand. Alright, we're doing Spray Fountain again? Yep. I guess he has to draw Sprite Fountain or a deckhand, or he doesn't have a functional deck when he goes second. Okay, this is reasonable. You swing in. This trades with whatever hidden unit it is. Okay, or we let the Teemo hold. But now our pit rookie is out of position, and they're going to hold Grove forever. I'm surprised there's no Bandle Tree. That'd be the battlefield I expect out of Teemo when he goes second. Taking the Doran's Blade off of Fiora, so Switcheroo is useless. Yeah, you could also do that. With the Weapon Master. So Purple Teemo and Switcheroo are both useless from hand. Or well, Switcheroo's expensive from hand, not useless. So that makes sense. That is a Nocturne draw. Is there anything useful we can do? We got Rebuke in hand now, too. Yeah, there sure isn't. We are going to do this. That was probably necessary. Now we get to put a second hidden card down and get point lead. And then they'll break one battlefield but not the other. I think it's good. Might be better in this meta, I don't know. How are you beating this camel? You just avoid it. You drop Nocturne on this battlefield, and then they can't accelerate this camel out onto you. Your opponent suicides a Kinku Monk for no reason, instead of attacking multiple units at the same time. Has a first mate available. That's how you beat it. One and only Anti-God. Yeah, pretty much. Everyone else sucks. Opponent just gives him the Grove back and 6 points. Can we hold both battlefields, please? Third BF sword? Hey, thanks for the gift sub, Sam Stern. Ooh, he's writing down the cards he flips. Full trade. Surely the Fiora can win this game, right? Should be completely unlosable, even with throwing a unit in the garbage. Okay, then. Alright, everyone else sucks at Annie, at least. Alright. No turn 1 Sprite Fountain. Probably not good when you go first, to be fair. Is that a Ride the Wind in his hand? Looks kind of Ride the Windy. What is he going to do on turn 2? Is he going to Sprite and hit up both battlefields? He sure is. Sets up the Tide Turner to switch with the Sprite. So he ends up with a real unit on both battlefields. And I think he set up Consult. That would make sense. You set up Consult with the Sprite because opponent's not going to push there, and you end up with Tide Turner sitting on it. Unsung Hero before attacking. Unsung Hero. We did not hide Consult. Okay, Consult is going to be a bit bricked. Fortunately, we're at 5 points to 1. So I guess this is a pretty good spot. I'm surprised he didn't hide the switcheroo, though. Or the Consult the Past, rather. I think Consult the Past was a better hide. His opponent has 1 unit. They're going to push... If they push, it's going to be Fiora pushing in here, and you have the Tide Turner swap. And they could clear this battlefield, but they could clear this battlefield anyway. Like, whatever you hide here... Oh, I guess he's trying to Tide Turner the blue Teemo across, is the idea. Is that good enough? It's good enough to trade. If they BF sword in or something like that. Is that what's necessary? I guess so. And now he has the Teemo defense plus Tide Turner. Maybe he was greedy for the Consult the Past. Go in, offer trade. Is this time to farm some blue Teemo triggers to find Nocturne? Yes. Okay, is this Fiora going to play the game? Oh god, does not look like they are going to play the game. We are going to sabotage post-unit development. That is a Ride the Wind. That's crazy. Surprised he didn't... I guess he still can't Consult the Past. Yeah, he can't Consult the Past yet. Can't abandon either. He could have abandoned the Sabotage. Did I ever miss more Gusts? Not with the matchups against Vex I did. I didn't go against any LeBlancs, though, so I did not miss it too much. He just sends it after his sabotage gets taken. Alright. Hits 4. Okay, the game's just over? Why didn't this Fiora play... He had Pid Rookie as his follow-up? He knows there's a face-up Ride the Wind? Any regrets? Just round 11 where I played badly. And not being able to go to the zoo. I wanted to go to the zoo. What was the correct play then? Pit Rookie first, buff the Fiora, ready her, then go in. See if the Teemo's even willing to flip the game on this Ride the Wind. And then even if they do, you have the Fiora attack to follow up. And they only hold the 7. But now he just loses. Because the guy hit 4. Which is above average. But now he just loses. Because his Fiora's dead and he can't accelerate. Okay then. Literally cheesed his way to top 8. Not going to zoo is a fumble, true. Alright, that's it for tonight. I gotta go to bed and restart my PC, because I don't know what the hell's going on with it, to be honest. But I'll be back... Maybe tomorrow, maybe on Friday. Not sure if I'm gonna have any time. I'm very busy. Thanks for watching. Have a good night, everyone. Ta-ta. The sequence by Fiora, I mean, that is cheesy. And it's like, nobody knows what the hell's going on if they haven't played against it. They are unable to improvise and adapt. Alright, good night, everyone.